Okay, buddy. Um, so, as I've been doing these videos, I've been learning quite a bit. First thing I've learned, I'm not a very good teacher. Don't take any offense to what. I don't know if offense is the right word, but as you go through these videos, I'm going to send you. So now I'm going to start sending you your first 3 videos. I figured I'm going to send you the 3, and those are you can learn those 3 before I send you any more songs to learn. As per my usual routine, I'm going to suggest lesson 2 to be your lesson 1, and lesson 1 can be your lesson 2. And yeah, I'm serious. I've been looking for something to make a relatively easy song for your first song. Santa Maria is relatively easy, but there's that bar chord in there, and there's a lot of chord changes. It's fairly quick, I guess, for beginnings. So anyway, the other song, I searched high and low to find a song that had no fucking bar chords in it, buddy. You owe me for that. It's not easy, believe me. Anyway, I wrote down a bunch of things that I think that out of those videos I should probably tell you before you start actual songs here. I'm really excited to do this. That's why you're getting all these videos. It's been really fun for me just to do this, even if it's just for my own good, because I'm learning a lot for myself. But anyway, so one of the things I've realized is that I don't want to send you down to the music store 5 times. So there's a few things you need to get. You might as well do it all in one trip. Let me see here. Oh yeah, okay, here we are. I wrote this down because it's just too much bullshit. Anyway, strings. Again, I'm really only worried about you playing your electric, so I mean, you can restring both, I don't care. But number 1, get strings for that electric. Ernie ball, 9s, they're slinky, super slinkies, whatever. Slinky, I think, or super slinky. There's a bunch of different kind of slinkies. They get thinner and thicker depending on what you want. But anyways, get the ones that are 9s, 9 through 46, I think they are, or something like that. Anyway, 9 is the key one. So make sure they have that high E string as a 9. Okay, number 2, you're gonna need picks, because you're always going to want to play with the pick. We'll learn finger stuff too. One of my biggest downfalls is I use my fingers when I was practicing rather than a pick. And then I'd go and practice with the guys, and I'd be using the pick, and it's different. It feels different, right? I still prefer just to play with my fingers. For some reason, I like the sound better, but honestly, I'm just using a pick from now on. So I'm just forcing myself. You need picks. I would suggest, if you haven't got a favorite already, I use Dunlop Tortex, they're called. I wouldn't go any smaller than a 0.5 mil. I would suggest probably using a 0.6. The lighter, the thinner they are, the harder they are to be accurate with. I mean, really good guys will use fucking 1 mil picks, and what's his name, Brian May there from Queen, he used a fucking pence or some shilling or whatever the fuck they use for coins over there. I find it very difficult to use those thick ones, but so anyways, I use this a 0.6 mil. I find that to be a really good pick. So strings, picks, 10 picks or whatever. Last thing I can think of is get a cable. You're going to see that in your first video, which is lesson number 2. I just picked up this one. I've never used one of these before. I wanted to try it to see how it works. This one here you kind of put on and then you just tighten it up. You can get this, or you can just get one of the regular ones that everybody uses. They're just squeeze type. They're kind of more handy. You can just put it on the headstock of your guitar and forget about it. Speaking of which, also on your headstock, I have, and I always will have is a tuner on there, a clip-on tuner, clip onto the headstock. You can get an app for that. I do say a lot of this stuff in other videos, but again, it's kind of too late once you hear it in those videos. So that's why I'm telling you now, get a tuner. They're cheap. You'll probably go out there and you can get all the stuff for probably 50 bucks, maybe 60 to get all this stuff. And that's it. Get that stuff. Strings, capo, picks, and a tuner. All right, stroke that off my list. So once I get after this video, I'm going to upload 3 songs. You're going to have lesson 2, which is What's Up by 4 Non-Blondes. That's the song I think you should start with. Also, I have Santa Maria, which I redid for you into another video, which is lesson 1, which is going to be our lesson 2. And what's the other? Oh, Roadrunner. It's an old blues standard, but the Aerosmith version is awesome. And there's reasons for all 3 of those songs to be up there. I think, along with all the pre-practice, or the thing you're going to do for every practice, you'll see them as we go through the videos. Again, I've already mentioned it, but that string, your finger exercises, the scales, your blues progressions. We'll learn about theory and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I think those 3 songs are pretty variable. They're going to help you out a lot. I think you're probably better off just doing lesson 2, kind of getting that down so you can play that song relatively decent. Which actually brings me to another point. When I say relatively decent, you should be able to figure the structure out and know where the song's going to have choruses and intros and solos and middle eights and whatever, whatever shit it may be, outros. Things can be all different, but there's going to be, a certain amount of parts per song. 4 or 5. Sometimes I only have 2 parts for a song, or 1 part in What's Up. That's 1 part all the way through. But anyway, what I'm going to say about playing it well is expect yourself to have flub notes in a chord, But if some of them are ringing right and some of them are just thudding out on you, that's fine. It can be frustrating, but don't let it get frustrating, because what you're going to find is that you might be, flubbing those notes up in those chords, but every day that you do this, all of a sudden you're going to hear that, oh, I can actually play that right, and they're ringing out, and pretty soon you'll have a whole chord that'll ring out with no buzzes or notes that are unwanted, muted. So it's good to have the fuck-ups. The fuck-ups are what makes you learn. And this is repetition of going through just chords. It'll smooth out, and it's gonna be one of those gradual things that you're not even gonna notice. Although you might, what I've been finding, and I've always found that when I'm learning something one day, I'll be frustrated because notes are flubbing up, things aren't sounding right, and I'll be frustrated, and I'll, stop. I'll be done for that practice. Next day I'll come back to it, and holy fuck, I can play it like 50% better I didn't do anything. I just took a break. For some reason, that break makes a difference. So anyway, we're gonna let you marinate on those first 3 songs. I was gonna also say that when you're playing chords, you want to have lightest touch possible, and you just want to push those strings against the frets, slightly behind the fret. That's as you know, but you want just enough for that note to sound without thudding out or buzzing or anything like that. A death grip is not good. A death grip on a chord is just gonna your hand will get so fatigued, and it just won't be enjoyable. So light touch, is what you're looking for. You're going to have flub notes with throughout chords in there. It's going to drive you crazy, but don't worry about it, because that will come every time you're practicing this. Your muscle memory is getting better, and eventually those chords will ring out nice and clean. I still have flub notes. It just happens whenever I'm learning something new. It happens. Anyway, so let's see what we've got done here. Yeah, we did that. I think we did that. Yeah, I did that. Oh, let's see, there's something else here on this page here. Oh, I did that one already, and that one. Oh, I want to let you know some of the songs that are going to come after this. So I expect these three that I already sent you. I have no idea how long it's going to take you to come out to me and say, hey, fuck, send me some more songs. I'm good. Send me some more songs. Although I will say, once you do the What's Up song, and you kind of got that doing really well, I would suggest doing both Roadrunner and Santa Maria together. So do your opening regular rehearsal, finger exercises, scales, etc., whatever, and then spend say 10 minutes on the chord changes for Santa Maria, and then spend 10 minutes on Roadrunner, because Roadrunner is more of a finger exercise song. You're doing a lot more riffing on it. It's not just chords. And so practice time, I guess, is what comes to next. So I'm saying have at least half an hour per day. And I would say try to do that 5 days a week. Whatever day you take off, it's up to you. Don't matter to me. Take Tuesdays and Saturdays or whatever you want. But try to, for the next while, half hour a day. It's 2.5 hours a week. Honestly, it's not a lot. Just find your time. You just need to devote some time, and maybe that's just before you go to bed. You know, instead of going to bed at 11, go to bed at 10:30 or whatever the fuck it is, and just sit there, and so that half hour is going to be devoted to your guitar. I guarantee you that once you start getting the chord changes down, and your fingers are working well for that, I'm not going to say you don't have to practice as much, but you don't, because I can literally not play. I literally didn't play this guitar for 3 years straight. Never touched it. Picked it up. I could still play it. Muscle memory is still there. It might have been a little sloppy, of course, as it was. I mean, even this time picking up, I'm sloppier, but it doesn't take long. You're still almost instantly you're getting your chops back. It doesn't take long. But you always remember, your muscles always remember those chords. You can just, like 3 years later, I can play those chords, no problem. Just need a little touch up, a little time, right? So, anyway, songs coming up after these three. When you're ready, I want to do Against the Wind, good old Tcrcgl. I'll throw Mother in there, because I think by that point, that F chord, it's an F bar chord. It's the toughest bar chord in the out of all of them, because it's on the first fret. Well, the B flat is on the first fret, 2 on the A string. So those two chords, I guess, would be the toughest chords. It's only because that nut is there. It's a harder press to make that one sound good. So anyway, I think by then you'll have done some bar chords in. You'll have the F sharp down in Santa, so it's just a little adding to that. You'll be able to get it. So we'll have Mother as the other song, and the third one I picked kind of an easy one too. Take It on the Run by REO. It's a good one, I think, and it'd be a fun one to play together. I will get to, so that's the three: Against the Wind, Mother, and Take It on the Run. I will get to Harvest Moon. I'm excited to do that one with you. The only reason I'm not going to do it right away is because it is a different tuning. It's not in standard tuning. It's in double drop D, I believe. which, to make it short and simple, is your high and your E string are tuned down to D. So each one of those will be Ds. The rest of your strings are normal tuning. So everything's a little bit different when you do that. And of course, you got to tune it every time to do that. So I think rather than learn one song and have to tune your guitar to some different tuning to do another song, it's kind of a pain in the ass right now. But I'm looking forward to doing that one with you. I used to know how to play that. I played that back. It was one of the first, not the first songs, but yeah, I learned that song just after it came out. And it's a fun song. It's got a really cool chord riff in there. Anyway, so that's that. And I'll start adding in those songs. I'll probably start adding a little more theory, chord theory, and that kind of stuff. I'm not going to make it boring. It'll be just short little things so you can understand keys and time signatures and tempos and stuff like that a little better. Tempos are pretty simple. I mean, it's just how many quarter notes are in a bar over a minute. There's 120 beats per minute per song. That's 2 quarter notes every second, right? 60 beats a minute, so 60 quarter notes per minute. So anyway, don't want to get too far into that stuff, but yeah, we'll get more into that theory as we go into those number, I guess, 4, 5, and 6 video. Oh, one thing I also wanted to say is before every practice, make sure you have a pen and paper, because I am going to tell you to write down some, song structures and stuff like that. So once you learn the chords, you can just look at the piece of paper and be able to do your, you'll know your structure of your song and be able to play through it. So I think that's kind of important. Is there anything else? Let's see if there's anything else in this here. Oh, I don't know if you have or if you know how. So I'm not sure if I already know how either, but because I do have a YouTube channel also obviously. I can subscribe to other people's channels. So I would suggest you subscribe to my channel. You might have to make a channel of your own to do that. I don't know. But if you subscribe to my channel and you put your notifications on anytime I upload a video, you'll get a notification saying it's uploaded and you can check it out without me bothering you. They'll just be there. And one other thing, so you can always go back and find a song as we go on throughout this whole series of stuff. I've shortened Tcrcgl's real campfire guitar lessons down to capital letters. Tcrcgl. Okay, and just so you don't have to, by mistake, have to go back and watch one of my intro overview videos by mistake and have to, put yourself through that. You might need therapy after that. Speaking of therapy, why is therapist spelled the rapist? Something to think of. So, anyway, totally lost where I was going. I guess that's probably about it. Just wanted to, and then I'll also, in the description of the song, I'll put what song it is. And my thumbnail will be a hint. You'll see. So anyway, that's about it for now. This one video, I know I could keep way under 20 minutes, which apparently I have. So we are under 20 minutes. We're going to say over and out, and your lessons are coming next.